This isn't science fiction, it's the so-called deep beneath the Earth, a 7,000-ton machine captured a signal no scientist saw coming. A burst so strange, it triggered instant alarm from Michio Kaku himself. This isn't science fiction, it's the so-called third interdimensional interaction, or 3I, recorded by CERN's Atlas detector. And Kaku warns it could catapult humanity into godlike danger, or irreversible disaster. If this anomaly breaks the laws of physics, we could be standing at the edge of creation, or destruction. What did Kaku see that made him sound the alarm? And why could this change the fate of the universe? The answer begins with a single, inexplicable pulse. The first whispers of the 3I anomaly swept through the physics community like a shock wave. In the control rooms beneath Geneva, monitors flashed with data that defied every prediction. The signal lasted less than a second. A spike where nothing should exist. No collision model, no background noise, no known physics could explain it. Within hours, the data packet earned a nickname, the God Pulse. Even the most seasoned researchers stared at the readouts in disbelief. This wasn't a statistical blip or a calibration error. The anomaly cut straight across the standard model's expectations, registering at energies where theory says the universe should be silent. Atlas, the detector responsible for capturing this event, is designed to sift through billions of collisions every second, looking for the rarest signatures. But nothing in its years of operation had prepared the team for this. The 3I pulse didn't match any known particle decay, nor did it resemble the rare quantum fluctuations that sometimes sneak past even the most advanced machine learning filters. Instead, the event pattern looked like a ripple from another set of rules, a brief, impossible echo that left the world's most powerful detector momentarily blind to its own programming. The implications landed hard. A signal this far outside the norm isn't just a curiosity. It threatens to unravel decades of physics, to force a rewrite of what we believe keeps the universe stable. For the first time since the Higgs, the sense of standing at the edge of discovery was matched by an undercurrent of dread. If the 3I anomaly is real, it could mean that the laws of reality are more fragile and more unpredictable than anyone imagined. The data spread, encrypted, to a handful of trusted theorists. Among them, Michio Kaku read the numbers and, for a moment, hesitated. The warning he would issue next would echo far beyond the walls of CERN. Michio Kaku's reputation as a physicist is built on a rare blend of deep theory and public foresight. He helped found string field theory, a cornerstone of modern attempts to unify the laws of nature. Yet, it's his ability to read the undercurrents of technology and sound the alarm before the rest of the world catches up that sets him apart. When the encrypted 3I data hit his inbox, Kaku's reaction was immediate and uncharacteristically grave. This wasn't the cautious optimism he has brought to quantum computing, or AI. This felt different. Kaku has spent decades ranking humanity's technological leaps on a danger scale. At the bottom, he places everyday tools, safe, predictable, well understood. Higher up, he warns of technologies like AI and genetic engineering.
Let me go to what's up, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Just that 3I Atlas currently is about 2.5 times the Earth-Sun separation, or 374 billion kilometers. The observed tail is approximately 30 arc seconds across the sky, or about 56,400 kilometers long, pointing towards the southeast. It's about 10 arc seconds, or 18,800 kilometers wide, which is significantly more extended than its compact appearance in images of 3I Atlas from early July 2025, or even images taken of 3I Atlas by the James Webb Space Telescope. But to be clear, just because a stubby tail is starting to form, that does not mean the 3I Atlas is a conventional comet. Indeed, we've made discoveries recently that indicate that this object was emitting some sort of material from its surface as early May of this year, according to the Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite images that appear to indicate a a 3i atlas that is starting to outgas or produce some sort of material at an enormous distance from the sun, 6 times the Earth-Sun separation, when it shouldn't have been outgassing anything at all. So whatever this haze is, dust or perhaps some other material that has surrounded this object since it started to make its way into the solar system, it's been there for a very long time, and it might not have even been there as a result of the sun's heat warming it. It might have been produced as a result of some other kind of activity. But what is far more significant than the tail, the dust, or behavior of this cloud around 3i Atlas is its composition. James Webb already told us some strange things about it. The fact that it's producing an enormous amount of carbon dioxide and very, very little water and carbon.
Let me say this really quickly. Somebody keep like messaging me, sending me messages saying that I'm saying that this object is bigger than the sun. I never said that. That's just some people on the short bus. I never said this object is bigger than the sun. I said the coma of this object is half the size of the sun. The coma is. Just think of it as like a dust cloud that's following it. That whole cloud is half the size of half the size of the sun. This is really significant. That is that big. That means the object is really big. I'm not saying the object is the size of the sun, but this object is really, really, really big. Whatever it is, some people seem to think that this object came from the outer edge of the universe, the outer belt of the universe. I mean, of the galaxy. They seem to think that too, but this did not come. This came from the dead center of the galactic center. That's where it came from. And also, I had said earlier that we received a signal from the galactic center in 1974. No, excuse me, 1976. And that's not up for debate. It's actually a fact. We did receive a signal, and it's like a signal that someone sent to us, and it came from the galactic center. And this whatever this is, it could be an asteroid. We don't know. We have to wait until they get more data on this. But if it is an asteroid, it's it's the biggest ever. They seem to think that this thing, or whatever it is the size of one of Mars' moons. You know how big that is? This is a very significant event. I hope it don't affect us when it gets near the sun. I hope not. I just hope not, because that coma is really, really damn big. And it's going about 144,000 miles per hour. That's how fast it's traveling. So just let you know. But no, I did not say the object is half the size of the sun. The coma is. So I just wanted to say that.
The monoxide, something that no other comet in history has ever done. But now, for the first time, we have evidence of metal on this object, or specifically, one type of metal that shouldn't be there by itself.
Stop. Did y'all hear that? They have now, as of a few days, they have detected metal on this object that shouldn't be there. Guys, this ain't no comet. I don't know what it is, but it's not a comet. Okay? And it's not a comet. It's not a comet. Do you hear me, Chantel? It said that they're detecting metal on it. Yeah, this is, I'm telling you, it's going to get interesting next month. The end of next month is going to get real, real interesting. And guess what? Nobody's talking really about it. Like, nobody I know is talking about it. Somebody sent me a message saying that they're glad that Black YouTubers are talking about it. I'm like, thanks. But I've been into this. It's just that I never talked about it on the show. But yeah, I'm very into that. I think this is the only content I'm covering. That's it. I'm not covering nothing else. This is so significant that this is what we've been waiting for. This it has metal on it. It has metal on this thing. God, sorry, I got a little excited earlier. I just couldn't help myself. I could not help myself when he said we received a signal in 1976, because I used to say that in school. They thought I was crazy because I read it somewhere and I heard it. I was watching a science show one time when I was a kid, and I heard it. We received the signal, but they didn't. Back then, it wasn't really reported like that. They just kind of like broke, whizzed through it. But it's been recorded. You said somehow YouTube is running ads during your live. Yeah, I'm monetized. Yeah, you're gonna get ads during my live for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean it's ads running through the live. And what kind of ads are they though? I'm curious. When you saw the ad, what kind of ad was it? But yeah, it's gonna be. I just want to know what kind of ad is it. Is it like a space kind of article or ad, or what is it? And I'm also getting some strange notes. I had to block somebody. They're strange, man. They kept commenting, and it's almost like this person was spamming. It was almost like, I don't know. You said I thought they only run on replay. They can run during the ad. Actually, I mean during the live. They changed it. It's a change that they did. Yeah, it used to be like after the live or something. They do it during. You say you dream about this stuff, but see, okay, let me rewind back, guys. This thing has metal on it. Matter of fact, let me just do this real quick, and I'm gonna go back to what they're saying. All right, let's find something out real quick. Let's find this out. Let's see. I got it. I had did some research on this, but okay. So comets are often described as dirty snowballs because they are made mostly of volatile ices mixed with dust and small rocky particles. Main ingredients: water, ice, H2O, carbon dioxide, um, carbon monoxide, methane, and ammonia. Silicate dust, tiny rock like particles, organic molecules, carbon based compounds. Um, it says, I said, do they contain metals? Trace metals, not bulk metals. Comets do contain trace of metals like sodium, magnesium, iron, and nickel, but not in large chunks like asteroids. So, but there's a metal that they saying it's something else that they're saying that this has and they're not supposed to. At best, as far as if we're going by textbook, this got to be an asteroid, not a comet. It got to be an asteroid. Hold on one second. Let me see. Where's my other notes? So my best guess, guys, that this is an asteroid. They're related, to comets, but they're not the same thing. So the composition, we were talking like comets, ice, water, CO2, methane, I had just said before. So appearance, when close to the sun, the heat causes the ice to vaporize, forms a coma, a glowing cloud that often has tails. So we could say this is a comet, but a big one. Now, asteroids is mostly rock and metal, nickel, iron, silicates, carbon-rich materials. That's what they're saying that this is giving off right now. They're saying this giving off nickel, iron, silicates, carbon-rich materials. And it also says the appearance, there's no coma or tail, even near the sun, because they lack ices and sublimate. And origin, primarily from the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. But the problem is here, I think this is a big asteroid, but this is an asteroid. It's like a big one though. But the problem with this is this didn't come. This came from the center of the galaxy. So I'm thinking the best bet here. This is a asteroid, and luckily it's not going to hit. Because if it hit, we wouldn't know it. We wouldn't know. We'll just be dead. We wouldn't even know it hit. That's how big this is. We wouldn't even know it hit. They wouldn't tell us. We'll just be gone. We wouldn't know. It's like you blink, you gone. Just like that. Really? I gotta check that out. So I'm thinking this probably originated from like the outer rim of the galaxy belt. It may have came from there, or somewhere around the time the universe formed. Which is this is old. This thing, this article, this well, excuse me, not article. This particle is possibly older than our galaxy, and more than likely it is. Um, oh, by the way, Elizabeth, let me say this again because you guys thought, I think you sent me the message. You said that I was like this asteroid or whatever it is half the size of the sun. No, I didn't say that. I said the coma is half the size of the sun. The coma is not the actual asteroid. It's the coma. And then somebody also sent me a note saying, "Oh, next thing you know, you're going to tell us it's a comet." What's wrong with people, man? I'm not the only one reporting this. Not talking about you guys, but I'm just talking about this. This is getting a little weird, with the comments and stuff. It's getting a little weird. I mean, my educated guess is it's an asteroid, not a comet, because asteroids don't form a tail. But here's the problem, though. They're saying that this thing is big as Mars' moon. You know how big that is? This could have some interactions with the sun that can cause earthquakes. The last time, let me show you the picture, is Muamua. Hold on. This one right here, when this interacted with us, it caused earthquakes because it interacted with the sun. And then as a result, it caused earthquakes our way. I didn't know that. Did you know that? When things like that interact with the sun, it can cause earthquakes on Earth. I didn't know this. I'm just learning this. I think I slept in science class. That's Muamua. That's what Muamua looks like. But we don't know exactly what 3-Hour Atlas looks like, but they're going to know. Like once this pass Mars, I believe, because they have a Mars rover or something, that it should pick it up when it passed Mars. It should. So they should get a clear picture of what it is when it's passing Mars. Because I believe, don't they have a rover on Mars, right? If I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I think they do. So at that point, we should get a clear understanding of what this thing is. But this thing is possibly bigger than one of Mars' moons. And it is cruising, let me tell you. And another thing is, when it reached the perihelion of the sun, it's actually going to speed up. And once it passes perihelion, it's going to just be right under the galactic plane. I mean, what do you call it? What do you call that? The planetary plane. What do you call it? I forget. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The ecliptic plane is going to be right under it. So this is like coming in at a trajectory that normal asteroids and comets don't take. They normally don't take this trajectory, and the trajectory is going is very, very perfect. It's perfect. So I hope it don't have any weird interactions. Mua actually did have some weird interactions with the sun that kind of caused earthquakes on Earth. So I didn't really know that it can do that, but yes. But this thing is bigger than Mua. Mua don't have nothing on this size. So the coma itself, which is the gas and all that stuff surrounding it, is half the size of the damn sun. You know how big that is? That's way bigger than Earth. I'm thinking we're going to be able to see it at some point.
First time we have evidence of metal on this object, or specifically one type of metal that shouldn't be there by itself if 3I Atlas is a natural object, but definitely could be there if it's artificial.
Stop. Bingo. They found a certain metal that's not supposed to be there if it's natural. Okay? But it will be there if it's artificial. This is deep, yo. It's there. It's giving off this certain metal. That's what I wanted to say. I had to stop there real quick, guys. I'm really excited about this, man. You don't know how excited I am about it. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't believe me, in 1976, some of you weren't even alive in 1976 as I was. I'm old. In 1976, a signal was sent to us from the center of the universe. It's from the galactic center. I'm talking about a radio wave signal was sent to us. Okay? And it baffled them for over 40 some years. This baffled them. Over 50 years now. I ain't telling my age, but hey, it is what it is. I'm happy to be this age, to be honest with you. Okay? There's something alive out there. It is. Just like some people in the universe might be wondering about if we exist or not. So there's metal on this thing that's not supposed to be on there. Now we know that asteroids contain metal, but not this type of metal. So that's what I'm just saying. Not this type of metal. Yeah, they know more about it, Chantel. They're just not telling us. But the thing is, some people are researching it and they're trying to uncover it. Now, now they're talking about we're not going to know really what it is. No, when it passes Mars, you have a rover on Mars. You'll be able to see it. What do you mean? It's coming that close to Mars that rover should be able to pick it up.
Shouldn't be there by first time we have evidence of metal on this object, or specifically one type of metal that shouldn't be there by itself if 3I Atlas is a natural object, but definitely could be there if it's artificial. No clickbait here, guys, so stay tuned for a very special episode of The Angry Astronaut coming at you right now. Observation making its way through the solar system, and so therefore it deserves non-stop coverage, in my opinion.
Yes.
Every time you learn something new.
This deserves non-stop coverage because this thing might be artificial. If it's artificial, someone sent it. They sent it. And it could be nuclear powered. They know more, Shanta. They're just not telling us. They know more. They want us distracted here. And also the coma around it. Y'all could do the research on this if you think I'm lying. The coma around it is alive. Because plasma is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. It's conscious. So something sent it. If it has that kind of metal on it, we'll see.
And interesting, and wow, things have taken another interesting turn as we learn more and more about the composition of this mysterious object. Once again, to emphasize, as I said at the beginning of this video, this is not clickbait. This is not me inventing some kind of weird scenario to where there might be an interpretation to where this evidence looks like artificiality or anything like that. It is an obvious conclusion that can be drawn from the data. Is it the only conclusion? Might there be a natural reason that all of this is happening? Yes, but once again, the natural reasons, the natural explanation for 3I Atlas and its odd composition and behavior is every bit as unlikely as the artificial one, perhaps even more so. It requires an extreme interpretation of the data as some sort of bizarre natural occurrence that not only have we never seen it before, the fact that it's happening at all is staggeringly unlikely in our universe. Unlikely for all of this to have happened purely by chance. But again, to emphasize, yes, there definitely could be a natural explanation. Also, it's definitely bears talking about the tail of 3I Atlas. As I mentioned also at the beginning of the video, it's beginning to form a tail. Very stubby tail, especially if we consider the distance involved, but a tail nonetheless. But even that doesn't mean that what we're watching is a comet here or a conventional comet. As a matter of fact, we know for certain that this isn't a conventional comet at this point. Any object surrounded by a haze of tiny objects, dust or something else, eventually, as it gets closer and closer to the sun, there's no way for the solar wind to not have some impact on that. Gradually, bit by bit, the debris, the dust, whatever you want to call it, whatever it might be, is going to start trailing behind the object. So yeah, I mean, I would be very, very shocked if this thing didn't start to form a tail at some point. But once again, it's a very, very stubby tail, and it doesn't begin to explain the coma of dust or whatever that was leading the object, that was defying the solar winds and advancing ahead of this extremely fast object somehow. All of these things were mysteries to begin.
It says it's defying the solar winds and is ahead of it. There's something strange here. I believe it's a ship. To be honest with you, that or a asteroid. But if it has something on it it's not really textbook explain why it's there, then maybe it's just, I don't know. But yes, it's something going on here. And it's something strange going on. Something strange. It just feels strange outside. Yeah, I had dreamed like that something is going to reach us eventually. Because you have billions upon galaxies out there, billions of planets. You mean to tell me there's not life out there? Of course it is. It has to be. It has to be. We're not the only ones. We're not. I can't prove it, but I know it. We're not. And it further, when I was younger, it further proved that when we received that signal. Oh, and another thing, there is a planet. I forget. I have to do some research on it. They found a planet. It's so far away. It's in our future. That's how far away it is. It has satellites around it. Some form of like satellite system around it. But they said it's like a dead planet or something. Yeah, it's a lot of strange things going on, man.
But now we have strange composition as well. Composition that suggests artificial metal being present. Perhaps an artificial process of the production of advanced metals. And that.
Well, wait. What do you mean by that? Artificial metal? Guys, that's a spaceship. That's what that is. It's a probe or a spaceship if it's artificial metal. Or what I mean, yeah, artificial metal, man. What do you think it is? It's either a probe or a spaceship. One or the other. Bro, if they really, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us, man. I really don't think they're going to tell us. There was somebody that had reported that this ship sent a signal to us. Okay, they had reported. I read it somewhere. It said it sent a signal to us, and it said we're here to help, and do not resist. Resisting is your waste of your time, or something like that. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Like, we're here to help, and that's it. Now, what do you mean you're here to help? You know, maybe I don't know, but I don't believe that part of the story because I can't like substantiate it. I can't confirm that that's what what it said. Even if it did, they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us. So
That is something that nobody expected. By the way, guys, stay tuned to the end of the video where I'm going to give you my artificial interpretation of what this new data might suggest. So once again, I have little choice but to quote from Avi Loeb on this topic because nobody else is going to talk about the possible artificiality of this, but let's go ahead and begin. Quote, a new paper on spectroscopic data from the Very Large Telescope, or VLT, reported the surprising detection of nickel without iron in the plume of gas around 3I Atlas. Nickel without iron is a signature of industrial production of nickel alloys. This data constitutes a new anomaly of 3I Atlas. Natural comets generally show iron and nickel simultaneously. We've all heard of nickel iron asteroids.
yeah, how do we know they're not smart enough to make a ship that looks like an asteroid just so it can throw us off? So they can come by and gather whatever data they need to gather. And we just think it's an asteroid, but it's not. Just to throw us off.
Never has a natural object been found in the solar system that only has nickel with no other elements being present, at least as far as metals are concerned. Natural comets show iron and nickel simultaneously because they are produced together in the ejecta of supernova explosions. Is this anomaly another clue for a possible technological origin of 3I Atlas? The paper written on this topic suggests chemical formation through the nickel carbonyl channel, which is an extremely rare and exotic possibility in comets, whereas it is a standard technology for industrial nickel refining. The inferred mass loss rate of nickel for 3I Atlas is about 5 grams per second at a heliocentric distance of 2.8 times the Earth-Sun separation. So this observation was taken when 3I Atlas was a little further away from the sun. And by the way, the presence of this nickel is increasing dramatically with decreasing distance from the sun. Now, the spectroscopic data on the plume surrounding 3I Atlas also reveals cyanide with a mass loss rate of about 20 grams per second, again at a distance of 2.85 astronomical units, and an even steeper dependence on heliocentric distance. So the closer it gets to the sun, the more this stuff seems to show up. These results add to the chemical anomalies implied by the Sphere X Space Observatory and the Webb Space Telescope that revealed that there's a gas plume around 3I Atlas dominated by 95% of carbon dioxide with only 5% H2O, which is very, very different from the typical water-rich comet. As a matter of fact, we've never seen this ratio of carbon dioxide to water ever before with any comet, especially with a lack of carbon monoxide as well. Now, the idea that the nucleus is much smaller than the 46-kilometer diameter inferred from the 1-micron data collected by the Sphere X telescope requires that there's a dense coma of dust that reflects nearly all the sunlight from 3I Atlas. But in that case, that much dust would have been pushed by solar radiation pressure to trail the nucleus, constituting a prominent cometary tail, not the little stubby thing that's showing up now that it's getting a lot closer to the sun. No cometary tail was observed around 3I Atlas until very recently. The only thing we've seen is a plume of gas and dust extending towards the sun, defying the solar wind. Now, what kind of industrial process would involve nickel waste with nothing else, no iron and no other metals being present? Well, one possibility that I researched is an advanced alloy called nickel titanium. It's actually a smart alloy that retains its shape upon heating after being deformed at a lower temperature. At certain temperatures, it can undergo significant deformation and recover its shape without permanent damage, making it highly elastic. And once again, nickel waste is produced with no other metal byproducts in the construction of this material, and it's utilized in a variety of different applications.
I think it was made, man. You're hearing it right now. It can withstand a lot of heat, and it can go back to its normal form. It's like elastic. And I honestly think when it hits past Mars, they're going to be able to tell what it is. They're not going to tell us, though. They'll be able to know what it is. Whatever this is. I believe it's a probe or asteroid, one or the other. But if it has nickel without, I forget what he said with it, then it cannot be an asteroid or a comet. It can't be. If it's not naturally made, it can't be.
Just medical stents, guide wires, orthodontic wires where its flexibility and shape memory are critical. Also actuators in aerospace and components that exploit its shape-changing properties. And then things like eyeglass frames and temperature-sensitive actuators. And why is there no iron? Well, because it would interfere with the precise phase transformation required for its shape memory and super elastic properties. Nickel and titanium specific atomic interactions drive these behaviors, and iron's presence could disrupt the lattice structure. And only nickel waste is produced in the manufacture of this particular smart metal at a rate of about 11 kilograms for every kilogram of waste that is produced. Now, I crunched some numbers and determined that based on the amount of material that we are seeing right now, about half a metric ton of nickel is being produced by 3I Atlas, and at a ratio of roughly 10 to 1 waste to finished product with nickel titanium, about 50 kilograms or so worth of nickel titanium could be produced on 3I Atlas with this much nickel resulting from the production. That's just one example of industrial processes that could create this much nickel with no other metals being present. And what about the cyanide?
It's nickel with no other metals being present. That's manufactured. It's you cannot naturally do that. So it's telling us right now. They're telling us without telling us, because they are reporting that, just by the way. They are reporting that this is nickel coming off of this and no other metal. So they are reporting it, but they're thinking it's something, maybe it was formed some other way, but it seemed like it's artificial.
Well, interestingly enough, that chemical is also used in the production of a variety of different types of metals. Although cyanide is mainly used for gold and silver extraction, it can also be used in electroplating baths to form stable metal cyanide complexes, which are essential for depositing metal coatings onto other materials, a technique relevant to many advanced applications. It's also utilized in steel manufacturing and in metal polishing processes. And assuming the 3I Atlas is an alien asteroid ship of some kind, then what might they be using all this metal for? Why might they need it? Well, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and finish up the article. On October 3rd, 2025, 3I Atlas will pass within 29 million kilometers from the high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which will be able to image it with a 30 kilometer per pixel resolution. By the way, this is very, very close to Mars, and 3I Atlas is passing quite close to Jupiter as well. Much, much less than 1 astronomical unit. Again, very strange that this is happening all by chance. But in any event, this camera might be able to image 3I Atlas with a 30 kilometer per pixel resolution. Such an image could separate the contributions of the nucleus and coma to the reflected sunlight and constrain with greater confidence the size of the nucleus. So all NASA has to do is turn the damn camera around on October 3rd, 2025, and we might be able to dismiss the debate as to just how big the nucleus of this strange object is. Now, astronomer David Gross still suggested that we should observe 3I Atlas with radio telescopes for any technological radio transmission coming from it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, when it does get that close, they have to check for transmission to see if it's a actual ship or not. You know, when it does pass through. Well, they say October 3rd that it's going to pass that close. So we should know something by October 3rd, because people are reporting it. There's a guy that he gets all the data and he breaks down the data. You say he's finding out if he can put a tariff on the air.
Just a general policy of doing this with any interstellar object. Avi obviously agrees with this. This encounter is a blind date of interstellar proportions. And on any blind date, my best advice is observe the other side. We had already revealed our existence by broadcasting radio signals for over a century. This act might have triggered the visit.
Yeah, okay, let me stop right there for a second. For the past few decades, we have sent radio signals out into the universe. And the reason why we started doing that, one was sent to us in 1976, and we sent them back. So that may have triggered it. They may have found us. They were, oh, there they go. And now they're coming. Okay, because, yeah, we did send them out, and it may have received them. They may have received it. Like, okay, now they can pinpoint where we are. Universe is so big, you can just point the telescope just a fraction of an inch, and you can see other things revealed that you might have not seen before or missed. That's how big it is. But it's just that maybe they found us with that signal. That could be it as well. That very well could be it. That, oh, there they go. Let's go see them. They probably already know everything about us. If they have built a spaceship like this, or whatever this is, to withstand all of that, they're more advanced than we are, for sure. And I did find out a lot of those aliens that you see, that's all Hollywood production. That's all Hollywood. All Hollywood, that to production to like kind of like throw us off from what's going on. So let me see what he said again.
Side. We had already revealed our existence by broadcasting radio signals for over a century. This act might have triggered the visit. If 3I Atlas had originated from the inner edge of the Oort cloud at about 1,000 times the Earth-Sun separation, it could have started its journey 80 years ago when radio transmissions became routine on Earth. The first nuclear...
You see that? They said it could have made its voyage about 80 years ago. Because this thing has came from, like I said, the center of the universe is the galactic center. That's where it's come from. So I don't know. It's traveling, as of right now, it's traveling 144,000 miles per hour. How long would it take for that origin to get here? I don't know. It depends on where it originated from, but it could have taken many years. Which means if they sent it, it possibly could be a probe. But if he's saying that there's metal on there without other, what do you say? I forget the metal. Without the presence of other stuff, they said it's artificial. It's craziness.
Explosion took place on July 16th, 1945, exactly 80 years ago from the date of this article. On the one hand, I would be pleased if 3I Atlas turned out to be a CO2-rich comet, implying that humanity is not at risk from alien technology. But on the other hand, humanity desperately needs a wake-up call to avoid self-destruction.
I think so too. We do need a wake-up call to avoid self-destruction. That's why they could be coming to help. We do need something to humble us down. We do. We need something else. Because we are headed for self-destruction. I could feel it. We're headed for it. You remember there's a song back in the day, you self-destruction. You headed for self-destruction. Yeah, we headed for self-destruction, man. I heard this other guy, looking at what is omitting off of the structure, right? He said, oh, this can't be it. He's looking at the data. He said, no, this can't be right. He was like, wait a minute, it has this and don't have this. He said, what is this? He was saying that.
So what is a possible artificial interpretation for what we're seeing with 3I Atlas right now? Well, as I mentioned in previous episodes, there is a deep astronomical mystery that to this day has not been solved regarding vanishing dust in a solar system that appeared to be evolving like so many other solar systems do, and then all of a sudden the entire protoplanetary disk around the star vanished completely in the space of just a few years. The system was called TYC 8241-2652-1. In 1983, it appeared to be a naturally evolving solar system, but by 2008, there was a noticeable change in the amount of dust in the protoplanetary disk, a lot less than there was in 1983. And then 2 years later, even that dust completely vanished. We're talking about 10 to the 22nd power kilograms of material suddenly vanishing in the space of just a few years. The leading natural hypotheses like runaway accretion, radiation blowout, or grain growth completely fails to explain the rapid final drop, especially in material from 2008 to 2010. A black hole is a very unlikely scenario due to the absence of observable consequences like X-ray emissions, gravitational lensing, or dynamical disruptions, which would have been detected. So what could have possibly caused all of this material to vanish? Well, what if we're talking about a machine civilization with self-replicating nanomachines harvesting all of this material? And by the way, we're talking enormous amounts of valuable material, including carbon and especially metals being used to perhaps self-replicate, like the so-called Van Neumann probe or the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey that creates duplicates of itself so it's able to spread throughout the galaxy, eventually seeding duplicates of itself in every solar system throughout the entire cosmos. If this is the case, then might this also be the case with 3I Atlas? Might we be observing a halo of nanomachines which are drawing in usable material? And by the way, if we're talking about a 300,000 kilometer radius sphere of influence, which this haze appears to be, it appears to be that large, there is a substantial amount of material, both in terms of dust and small asteroids in a region this large, especially in interplanetary space, and the amount of that material increases as you get closer to the sun. That would explain why we see this radical increase in nickel production and also cyanide production as the object moves closer and closer to the sun. In addition to that, there's a lot of carbon dioxide coming from 3I Atlas. What if there are living organisms, or if 3I Atlas is a living organism itself, consuming the carbon in space dust and other materials being gathered by these nanomachines? A living organism consuming all of this carbon might produce a CO2 byproduct, very much like the label release experiment that was sent to Mars. Nutrients being introduced into the Martian regolith produced CO2 byproducts, which were detected by the label release experiment. living organisms can produce CO2 once they've consumed nutrients. Nutrients in interplanetary space being the carbon present in space dust and asteroids. What if that is what we're actually observing? Sure, a wild theory, but in my opinion, no more wild than all of the improbable natural explanations that we've seen thus far that explain nickel without iron, CO2 without water, and especially without carbon monoxide. This requires an exotic comet of titanic proportions, unlike anything we have ever seen before. And while I acknowledge that this sort of thing might exist in interstellar space, because we've seen precious few interstellar objects in the time that we've been looking for them, in my opinion, the artificial biological alternative is just as likely or just as worthy of close inspection. What do you think? Well, feel free to leave a comment while you're hitting that subscribe button and also that like and...
Man, I tell you, man, there's a lot going on here. But he said there's a 40% chance it could be artificial. Ari Loeb said that.
As of now, I defined a new scale in honor of this object that is called the Loeb scale after my last name, with 0 meaning it's a natural object, like a comet, for sure. And 10 meaning it's definitely a technological object because in case we, for example, see a maneuver or we see some artificial lights emitted by it or we get some message from it. As of now, I would rank it as 4, given all the anomalies that I mentioned. And of course, the fun thing of doing science is that it's work in progress. It's a learning experience. The more data we get, the better assessment we will have as to the nature of this object. The rank will either sink to 0, where we will figure out it must be a comet, or will rise all the way to 10, in which case the stock market may crash.
When you rate it a 4, are you saying that it's a 40% chance of it being artificial?
Yeah, roughly speaking.
That's really high.
That's pretty high.
That is really high. He's actually giving it 40% chance. That's pretty high. Oh, let me share the channel. The last channel it's called the Angry. Hold on, I'll get it to you.
He actually defined the different numbers between 0 and 10 in a paper that I co-authored. And I explained what each number means, and a 4 means that it's on the threshold of being considered seriously as a technological, but it's not yet there. We haven't seen the generic signature of a technological object, and if we do, then it will be a matter of policymakers in consultation with scientists how to respond, because that's very different than getting a radio signal from a star that is thousands of light years away, in which case there is no rush in responding to it. But when you have a visitor to your backyard, there is urgency.
He was talking about the signal that was sent in 1976. That's different than actually getting something that's showing up right now. 1976, folks. Let me see the link. Hold on. Put the link in here to what I was just watching. Yep, it says strange metal detected.
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. There is a huge interstellar object that is hurtling through our solar system at this moment in time. This is 3I Atlas, and no one really knows what 3I Atlas is, so I call it an interstellar object. The mainstream view is that it is an interstellar comet. There is a large group of people that are saying that it's some sort of alien technology, either sent to monitor the solar system, perhaps even to send some ships out when it's at its superior conjunction as viewed from Earth. That would be October 21st, because it'll be blocked by the light of the sun in front of it. And then there's some people saying it's a psyop. Others are saying that it's some galactic fleet returning back to liberate Earth. There's a whole bunch of ideas as to 3I Atlas, what it is, what it's going to do, whether it's even real or not. And well, here on this channel, we're devoted to the truth and what is actually 3I Atlas and what is actually happening in our solar system with the sun, the Earth, other planets, and more. So there is new data that has just been released on 3I Atlas, some new optical imagery showing that 3I Atlas is evolving. It has changed since when we first picked it up to where it is now in the solar system. And this is a common feature of comets, that they start to undergo changes as they get closer and closer to the sun. And so let's go right into that. We'll see how 3I Atlas has been evolving. Here, though, is our optical imagery from July 3rd, just a couple days after it was first picked up by the Atlas Observatory. That's why you have the Atlas in the name of 3I Atlas. And this is our green optical band, our red optical band, our infrared optical band, and then some information here. Image at about 3.4 astronomical units from the Earth. Well, some time has passed, and now we have new imagery from August 27th, and this is via Gemini South, whereas this July 3rd imagery is from NGPS, and we have the same optical bands here, though the exposure times are different. For example, this is 150 seconds right there. This one there is only 60 seconds, but we have our ultraviolet band, our green, our red, our infrared. We see our nanometer wavelengths of light right there. The visible light spectrum is 380 to 750 nanometers. And this is imaged from 2.59 astronomical units from Earth. So again, geocentric. Can you see the difference now in these images? There is some changes in the scale, as we can tell, but what you'll notice is that 3I Atlas went from this kind of round, diffuse, dimmer object to now clearly having a anti-sunward tail. Because here is our sunward direction. We also see this plotted up there. And as it has gotten closer to the sun, it has finally evolved a typical cometary tail. So there is a lot of interesting things as it relates to 3I Atlas, but we are now seeing more normal cometary behavior from it, at least as observed with the composite imagery taken on August 27th via Gemini South. This is down in South America. There's also Gemini North, that's up in Hawaii. We have an image from earlier taken by Gemini North. So this is very clearly now looking like some sort of comet, though it does have a lot of features that are quite different than any sort of comet that we have basically seen fly through our solar system.
Well,
here we have our James Webb Space.
Let me give you this link. I had played this earlier. If y'all don't, let me see. Hold on 1 second. Let me give you this link too. Y'all can take a look at it for yourselves because it's crazy. So I'm gonna give you that link. I ain't gonna stay on too long, but I'm just saying I'm staying on top of this thing. The signatures is giving off. They saying it's not supposed to be like this. One guy flat out said it ain't supposed to be like this. I don't. And they said, well, what is it? He said, I'm assuming. He said, I'm assuming it's artificial, whatever it is. But yes, we did send radio waves out back in the day. And it did say if it was going to reach somewhere, it'll take 80, 90, it'll take a long time for somebody to get it. Or maybe not. You know, so we'll see. But guys, I ain't going to take too much more of your time. I'm on this right here. If I got something else I want to share, I'll come back tomorrow maybe. But guys, there's something out there. And I don't know what's going to happen when it interact more when it gets closer to the sun. Like, how is it going to act? Like, what's going to happen? So that's all I got, man. But I will be back, guys. I will be back on the next one. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of research. I'm like, what is this? What name the comets and like what are the characteristics of a comet? And yeah, it told me like this don't have the same characteristics, but we'll see. All right, guys. Good night. We'll catch you on the next one.